Welcome to this production from Western New York Athletics. Our featured sponsors for today's game are Damon University. Damon University is a private, non-sectarian university in Amherst, New York, offering undergraduate and graduate level degrees. Visit damon.edu to schedule a tour today. Richmond Vona LLC is committed to you. Being involved in a serious accident creates a whirlwind of changes. We know how serious the effects of a car accident can be on the victims and their families. At Richmond Vona LLC, we have helped our clients recover over $175 million. We have the skills and experience needed to handle a full range of car accident claims, including those with multiple parties and catastrophic injuries. Call 716-671-4341 for your free consultation today, or visit richmondvona.com. Colvin Cleaners, Western New York's premier green earth dry cleaner. Dry cleaning, wash and fold laundry, shirts, and tailoring. 2375 Elmwood Avenue, Kenmore. Call 716-873-2952. Logistics Plus of Buffalo. For all of your transportation needs, full truckload, LTL, dedicated and drop trailer moves, Logistics Plus of Buffalo is a one-stop shop. Email buffalo@logisticsplus.com for your next shipment or warehousing needs. G&G Fitness Equipment is a full-service provider of specialty home and commercial fitness equipment. Locations in Buffalo, Rochester, and Syracuse. Visit livefit.com. Wingnuts Buffalo, located near the Buffalo Airport at 4600 Genesee Street. Dine in or order for takeout. Open Monday to Sunday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Visit wingnutsbuffalo.com. SUNY Cortland stands out as one of New York's top public universities, a medium-sized school that offers academic strength across 68 majors, a high quality of student life, and a degree that pays back graduates. Visit www.cortland.edu to schedule a visit today. Binghamton University, a world-class institution, Binghamton University offers students a broad, interdisciplinary education with an international perspective and one of the most vibrant research programs in the nation. Visit www.binghamton.edu today. We would also like to thank Pathfinder College Planning, Dan Cha-Cha Injury Attorneys, 510 Toy Shop and Sports Cards, The Mental Match with Sam Recco, Canisius High School, St. Joseph's Collegiate Institute, St. Francis High School, Trench Trophy, recognizing the top linemen in Western New York, Lewis & Lewis PC, 37 Franklin Street, Buffalo, New York, B&T Supply, and Western Division, home of the Great Rate. Thank you for joining us. Please enjoy the game.
Live from Denver, New York, I'm Stu Boyer along with Paul Catrona. Today's game is St. Francis at St. Joe's.
Today's varsity football matchup.
So we're at St. Joe's. I'm Stu Boyer along with Paul Catrona. We're going to pause for our national anthem and then we'll be back with the game. A sun-drenched day here on the campus of St. Joe's, the Robert C. Scott Athletic Complex on the campus of St. Joe's Collegiate Institution. Okay, I keep losing all this. I want to get to the referees. And for some reason, Al Fuller is the referee. It does not enlarge on my phone. This is the Robert T. Scott Athletic Center. It's St. Francis at St. Joe's. Al Fuller is the referee. Craig Donnelly is the umpire. The linesman is David Wayne. The line judge is Ferris Marone, and the back judge is Mike Chattel. And Paul Catrona, on paper, this looks like a fascinating matchup.
Oh, it's a great, great day here in Tonawanda. Wonderful rendition of the national anthem. And what better day than football on a Saturday? Well, St. Francis, they might be looking for a little revenge after getting bumped off by St. Joe's last year in the Monsignor Martin semifinals. Um, Coach Smith, I'm sure he took it personally. He went out, he recruited some new people or new kids in the school. Team's looking real good at 3-1. St. Joe's had a great, great senior class last year. Coach Corona's talked about the young guys who have moved up one year. They're expecting big things from them. We're hoping for a tight game where one of these two clubs score on the final play in the last second. How's that?
Pretty good. St. Francis won the toss and deferred. So St. Joe's will get the football to start the game. When you think of St. Francis, think of the San Francisco 49ers in terms of universities and the same letters on their helmets. And St. Joe's has maroon uniforms and maroon helmets today. Trenton Buttle starts at quarterback for St. Francis, and St. Joe's has a couple of guys who play every game. Seems like they divided almost by half. Brendan Keel generally starts, and Braden Mans comes on in relief. So we'll see if that plays out again today. I believe Mike Corona, the head coach, did tell us that's likely to happen again. He wouldn't pick one that was a better runner or thrower. He said they're both good. So it's good that he believes in his players. And St. Francis is getting set to kick off. Jacob Janis is the kicker. And back deep for St. Joe's.
Number 39, Jacob Jansen taking away. Fourth St. Francis.
2-9-3. That's Brendan Thompson, Owen Kaczynski, and Davion Becker as they get set to receive the opening kickoff. And we're almost underway here at St. Joe's on a gorgeous fall afternoon. You can hear the fans. Always great at these Monsignor Martin games, great student sections. And we are underway, a high end over end kick. And on the far side, getting some room down the sideline, still on his feet, and finally brought down on the St. Francis side of the field, number 9, Davion Becker. Great return, great way for St. Joe's to start this game.
Stu, it was just a wonderful, wonderful return by Becker. Starts off on the right side. They had blocking to the right. St. Franny's moved a little too far to the left as for the coaches, and Becker took that outside run, ran for green. What a great starting point for St. Joe's here.
St. Joe's numbers are, I guess you'd call it gray with a little bit of white trim. And of course, St. Francis has the white jerseys and the red numerals. Jerry Smith, the head coach at St. Francis, he's been a teacher at the school for 45 years and started coaching in 1988 was his first year as the head football coach. And the first play is a play action pass. It's caught. And that's about a 5-yard gain. Giovanni Ostrander on the reception. So a little play action there to get the drive started. Gain of 5, second down and 5.
Great opening play, just a little throw to the right. Looked like Franny's in their forefront. They brought a linebacker on the right hand side, so they rushed with 5. Was able to get the ball out quick, good reception, and a good drive start, and now a first play that's really looking pretty good.
Second down and 5. Shotgun snap, back to pass is Keel. He's in trouble. He takes a big whop Oh, he tried to go forward, and that defender, I think that was number 15. No, Terrence Ware, but I guess not. That's not what the PA man said. Anyway, he took a big shot and a 4-yard loss.
Yeah, I think that was number 8, Larry Hardley. Again, 4-man front, came with the fifth rusher. So this might be a trend we're watching with St. Franny's, how to get pressure out of 5 guys rather than 4. You know, they probably prefer the 4-man rush, but so far so good for St. Francis.
3rd down and 9 for Brendan Keel and the Marauders. Takes the shotgun snap. Back to pass. He's got time. He's going to run straight up the middle, and he's brought down well short of the first down. Maybe a gain of a yard, if that. Tyler Hoos on the tackle, and that'll Tavio Hoos rather, and that'll bring up a 4th down, and it looks like St. Francis will punt this one, or St. Joe's will punt this one away. Carter Petrie, number 34, into punt. Let's see who St. Francis has back deep. Aiden Hopwood is back deep for St. Francis. Snap, and he got the kick away. Hopwood will let it bounce, and it'll roll through the end zone for a touchback. So St. Francis will get its first chance. A big kickoff return, and St. Joe's cannot really, unfortunately for the Marauders, do anything with it.
No, you know, Stu, on that 3rd down play too, as I mentioned after the 2nd down, you'd prefer to rush 4. That time they did. They dropped 7 back. There was just nobody open quickly. Good pass rush, and that's how you defeat those 3rd and longs if you're on the defensive side. And great rush by St. Francis on that punt. It was great to just be able to get it off cleanly.
Trent Buttles at quarterback for St. Francis. And he'll go back to pass, and he'll throw it deep downfield on the far side. Overthrown. Incomplete. Mason Anderson, the intended target. Just a little too much on that one because he had him beat.
Yeah, on that fly pattern, you saw Kaczynski about maybe about the 40-yard line. It did what all good cornerbacks do, a little tug. It flew up the timing on the throw. Otherwise, he was beat.
So it'll be 2nd down and 10 for the junior quarterback for St. Francis.
That's good awareness by a cornerback, though.
If you can get away with something. And there's a handoff straight up the middle and a gain of about 4 yards. Dominic Cook Jr. And it'll bring up 3rd down. Rozak on the tackle.
24-yard line. That's
3rd down and 6.
We see the St. Franny's guys looking over to the sideline, seeing what Coach Smith is cooking up to call.
Well, interestingly enough, St. Francis is on the near side and St. Joe's on the far side. I thought for some reason St. Joe's would be on this side, which seems to be the home side, but obviously I was wrong again. Here's Buttles, back to pass. He's got a little time. He's flushed out of the pocket. He runs. He's got a 1st down and then some, and he's brought down all the way out at the 45-yard line, brought down by Darmaine Ubilis. A 15-yard gain and a 1st down for St. Francis.
Good awareness by Buttles. He was looking to drop it off to the left side. That did not open up. He looked quickly to his right, but something else was happening as he was looking to the right. That Red Sea parted. St. Joe's had a great rush going, but opened up. He stepped through the hole and pulled out his Josh Allen.
Hand off to Dominic Clark. Grabbed by the jersey, moving those feet. He's close to a 1st down. And finally, the whistle blows as his forward progress is stopped. He got anywhere between 7, 8, and 9 yards, depending on where they spot it. Great effort by Clark. We're going to say it's a gain of 7, and it'll be 2nd down and 3. About 4 or 5 defenders ganged up to stop his forward progress. 2nd down and 3 for Buttles and the Red Raiders. First quarter still scoreless. And there's a handoff to the near side. A 1st down and then some, almost down to the 40. by Tyrone Clark Jr. First down, St. Francis. So the Red Raiders moving the ball here. There's a flag on the play. Let's see which way this one goes.
Real briefly, Stu, so far I see these St. Francis boys running backs. Both are tough runners inside the tackle, strong, hard to bring down.
It's a penalty on the defense, a delay of game on the defense. So that'll add another 5 to the end of that and make that another first down. Oh, no, no, they switched it. Because it was on St. Francis. I was wondering, you don't see delay a game on defense very often because they can't really do it.
Well, the only thing I thought was, oh, did one of the boys like kick the ball or something from an official?
Well, they would have been unsportsmanlike,
Okay, so
I think.
yeah, yeah.
So,
Well, I figure he couldn't get the ball marked in time, so maybe that would have been the call. I'd never seen it before, but I was just trying to go with the flow here with what the referee was showing.
so this now should become second down and 8.
St. Francis first and 10.
I think, well, they got the first down despite the penalty. All right, well, so we'll call it first down. And Buttles goes back to pass. He's got time. He throws deep toward the end zone. Incomplete, and a flag comes out. And I'm going to guess that's pass interference.
yeah, maybe a little holding, whatever we want to call it. It's definitely against shows.
So that's Mason Anderson. That's the second time they've taken a deep shot downfield. And that will give them another first down on this drive. Pass interference against St. Joe's.
So if we were able to ask the referee, again, I'm wondering if the ball wasn't given back to the head official so he could mark it, because he did call delay a game, but still the play ran, and then 5 yards back, St. Francis still had that first down.
That's first and 10 on the St. Joe's 33-yard line or St. Francis. Puddles takes the snap, hands it off to Clark, comes to the near side, and he's shoved out of bounds.
And off to the outside.
Or he never got out of bounds. The bench is right in front of us. And a short gain there. And it'll bring up second down.
Buttles definitely was showing an RPO concept. He was reading off a linebacker. He would later in this game, as this game develops, we'll watch the offense. I wouldn't be surprised one of these times Buttles will pull it back and go to his right or left, opposite side, whichever way he's going to pull it out. But St. Francis leaning heavily on the left side, more bodies that side, handed off, got a good gain.
Second down for Buttles. And he'll hand it off to Clark, who breaks a couple of tackles. Some good hard running there. And the Marauders defense stiffens as they all hit the ground. Well, that's just good hard running, strong legs.
Stu, I often say first and second quarters is when you pound the ball a little bit, because really what you want to do is you want to win it in the third and fourth. How do you end up tiring out a defense? You just keep pounding on them. And right now, St. Francis is controlling the ground game.
And that's another first down for the Red Raiders. It's a luxury to have two backs like Dominic Cook Jr. and Tyrone Clark Jr., I would say. There's a handoff to Clark and a nice tackle. Maybe no gain. No gain on that play. And it'll bring up second down. David Amuka, I believe, number 22 on the tackle, the linebacker.
Came in, read it so well, and just took the running back down. For St. Joe's to stop this kind of running attack, they got to get some penetration in the backfield similar to that and slow down St. Francis.
Buttles, shotgun snap, 3 wide receivers at the top of your screen. Buttles back to pass. He throws near side, caught, and a nice move there and a good tackle inside the 5-yard line. Evan Necker on the reception. It's first and goal for St. Francis.
I'm looking for first bounds at the 6.
I call that a one-look pass. He was, the quarterback's watching number 5. He goes down like he's going to really try to go to the far corner of the end zone, just stops, turns, ball's thrown right on pace, right on point. It's an easy pitch and catch.
First and goal at the 6-yard line for St. Francis. And Buttles, the pitch to Clark, and he's into the end zone for the touchdown. And it's 6-0 in favor of St. Francis. Great drive, great ending touchdown play. And the Red Raiders lead 6-0 with 5:02 to go here in the first quarter, unless there's a flag on the play, which there might be. The officials are huddling up. That touchdown may not count. Well, okay, we're getting word that it might be after the play, so we'll see. Officials still talking. Al Filler and his crew getting together and discussing this. That's Al in the white hat. Let's see, which way is this going to go? We're waiting for Mr. Fuller to make a holding. St. Francis. So take the 6 points. Now, unsportsmanlike against St. Joe's, they offset.
So it's the touchdown.
And there's no signal there for a touchdown. So the penalties offset.
Like on St. Francis as well as
Oh, there's 2 penalties on St. Francis. He pointed the wrong way. That's the second time today that's happened. So that'll make it first and goal from the 31-yard line. Wow. That's a long way back. That's a 25-yard distance. So it's first and goal from the 31.
Well, if you're on the Joe side, going back to that play, you're really encouraged by the penetration I talked about. You got to cause some chaos in the backfield. Great penetration. A good flip. I love the option off the quarterback, but evidently there was a hold there, and then there was a little extracurricular afterwards. Coaches will not like the hold, but they'll get very upset about the extracurricular.
First and goal from the 31, 2 wide receivers at the top of your screen, 2 at the bottom. Buttles back to pass. He waits for the rush to come in, and he finds Cook, for a big gain. And he's looked all the way down at like the 7-yard line. Or inside the 15, at least I should say. And he'll bring up second down and goal.
Oh, so what's the tonic for my idea about pressure defense? Let them all come, flip it over their head. And I didn't quite see the lineman who was out there. He got a great seal block on the pursuing linebacker who would have made the tackle sooner, but just opened up in a great run.
Second down and goal from the 14-yard line for St. Francis. Buttles takes the snap, back to pass. He lets it fly. Caught for the touchdown.
It's complete.
Aiden Hopwood hauls it in, and now it is 6-0 St. Francis. And that time, I don't think there were any flags on the play. So St. Francis has a touchdown taken off the board, and 2 plays after that, they're back in the end zone. That's impressive.
Impressive. I was just thinking to myself, like making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Not that hard. Joe's did a great job, really. With pressure. Unfortunately, on those last 2 plays, they were caught up too much. And I was just looking at defensive coverage, too. I think I'd love to see it on replay. I think the receivers just put his foot in the right and turned left, and he was wide open.
June on for the extra point. Kick is up and good. And with 4:48 to go in the first quarter, it's St. Francis 7, St. Joe's nothing. You're watching Monsignor Martin football on Western New York Athletics.
Why do you exercise? To look better? To feel better? To drop a few pounds? To train for an event? To defy age? or to keep your ability to say yes to the things you love to do. Whatever motivates you, G&G Fitness Equipment is here to get you there. Treadmills, ellipticals, rowers, bikes, home gyms, and accessories. We'll pair you with the right equipment, teach you how to use it, and be there every step of your fitness journey. G&G Fitness. Your goal is our goal.
St. Francis set to kick off after the touchdown. It's a end-over-end kick, but short, and a fair catch is called for. It'll be St. Joe's ball at about their own 25-yard line where they will start this drive. Last drive for St. Joe's, they got a great 51-yard kickoff return, but 3 plays later, they punted it away, and then St. Francis took the ball, used up a good chunk of the first quarter, and scored.
And this time St. Francis was not in the mood to go chasing anybody, so they popped that ball way up there. They got what they were hoping for, a fair catch on the kickoff.
We'll see what St. Joe's does this time. Brendan Keel at quarterback.
I just love football because it's like a chess game. So St. Francis didn't like the kick coverage, so we'll do something else to make sure they don't have to even have it.
Tony Fiorello here from Western New York Athletics, writing at the very least one game story. Back to pass. Keel throws deep down the far sideline. Incomplete. Overthrown. Ham Chin, the intended receiver, and it's incomplete. Brings up 2nd down and 10. Oh, neither one of these teams has been afraid to take a shot downfield, that's for sure.
Nope, I like using the field. I like stretching it wide and going as long as you can.
Second and 10 for the Marauders. A play action pass caught, and a nice tackle there. Pass is caught by Giovanni Ostrander, and he was wrapped up immediately by Dominic Cook, among others.
I like that St. Joe's comes out with 2 tight end set. Really just a motion to the left. Basically, their team's blocking down to the left. Open up that little gap there, and they picked up. They need some positive yardage. So a 4-yard gain, that's good. They can build from that. They need some positive news right on this play to keep it going, obviously. But that's what you got to do. You got to chip away and just stay in the game.
3rd and 7 now for the Marauders. Play clock ticking down. Keel checks his wristband. Takes the snap, back to pass. He's going to run, comes to the outside. Oh, and he took a gigantic hit. Wow. He was planted by his opposite number, Trent Buttles, the quarterback, at the 36-yard line. 4th and 2.
You know that's a man's hit when you hear the entire crowd just yell what you were thinking. Wow. That was a perfect tackle. Broke down. Buttles, he can throw the ball. I'll tell you, he can tackle too. Broke down, hips forward, body, slammed in and just really laid a man's hit on there. I get excited about these hard hits in football, as you can tell.
Carter Petrie on the punt. And going back deep is the former St. Joe's player, Dominic Cook Jr. And here comes the rush, and he got the kick away, a very short kick, and it'll go out of bounds at about the 46-yard line. That's where St. Francis will have it when we come back. 7-0 St. Francis. 2:51 to go. First quarter. You're watching Monsignor Martin High School football on Western New York Athletics. First and 10, St. Francis at their own 45-yard line. Buttles Hands it off to Clark, and Clark breaks through everybody all the way down to the 35-yard line. Great run there, and took 2 or 3 guys to bring him down. Once he burst through that hole, he had a lot of yards.
Yeah, that was a great hole coming up that B gap between the offensive tackle and the guard.
And there's another handoff to Clark. He's got room to run. Clark goes outside. Clark's still on his feet. Touchdown, St. Francis. Tyrone Clark Jr. with a 30-yard touchdown run, and it's 13-0 in favor of St. Francis. Boy, those were gaping holes.
We see St. Joe's defense. Basically, St. Francis has been running to the left a lot. They slanted down to try to pack in there. Just a huge hole on the right side then, and almost went in untouched.
Janice will try to add the extra point. Kick is up and good. With 2:23 to go in the first quarter, it's St. Francis 14, St. Joe's nothing. And you're watching Monsignor Martin High School football on Western New York Athletics.
Why do you exercise? To look better? To feel better? To drop a few pounds? To train for an event? To defy age? Or to keep your ability to say yes to the things you love to do? Whatever motivates you, G&G Fitness Equipment is here to get you there. Treadmills, ellipticals, rowers, bikes, home gyms, and accessories. We'll pair you with the right equipment, teach you how to use it, and be there every step of your fitness journey. G&G Fitness. Your goal is our goal.
We're back at St. Joe's, and for the third time today, St. Francis will kick off. Great return on the first one, a 3 and out, and they kick off after each touchdown. The last time they put it where a fair catch was forced. There's a kick down the middle, caught and dropped at the 5, still having trouble with the ball, still on his feet on the far side now, and finally brought down inside the 20-yard line. Thompson had some trouble handling the ball, and it'll be 1st and 10 at the 15 for St. Joe's. Brendan Thompson on the return.
Stu, just one last comment on that run by Tyrone Clark Jr. Great duo block on the defensive end. Seal block on the inside defensive tackle. Duo block kicks out the defensive end, and he saw nothing but green. And then he does a nice little move at the end to outrun the defense and was able to power himself in there.
1st and 10 for St. Joe's. Their own 15-yard line. Keel hands that off, and about a gain of about 4 or 5 yards there. There's a flag on the play after about a 6-yard gain. Kaczynski on the carry. Let's see which way this one goes. It's on St. Francis, a personal foul, so that'll give them a 1st down and get them out of the little bit of the hole they were in field position-wise. That's the 3rd penalty on St. Francis. And I don't think St. Joe's has been called for one yet.
No, not yet. And you know what? St. Joe's needed that little help. You know, they're trying to establish their ground game similar to what St. Francis has been able to do.
Keel hands it off, and there's not a lot of room to run there for Kaczynski. We're going to bring up 2nd down at their own 40-yard line.
Yeah, you know, number 22, Tavio Hose came in on the left side, just crashed down. There was a little bit of a hole, but that got filled up quite quickly by him. So Joe's was only able to get that 3-yard gain.
Second down now. Shotgun snap. Hand it off to Kaczynski again, and he's got nowhere to go. He's thrown back for a loss. Caden Wright and others in on that tackle.
Yeah, I think it was number 44, Noah Volante came in and pretty much put the frosting on the cake. Clean hit, but boy, he went right through his chest.
Third down and 10 for St. Joe's. At their own 40-yard line. Well, St. Joe's could certainly use a first down and a drive to keep the ball away from St. Francis. The Red Raiders have looked unstoppable so far. Shotgun snap, back to pass, throws to the near side to Kaczynski another big hit by Buttles. Oh my. Davion Becker made the catch, and Trent Buttles drilled him from his free safety position. That's the second big hit that's holding on the offense, which I believe will be declined, and it'll be fourth down. But that's two gigantic hits by the St. Francis quarterback.
I'll tell you, St. Francis dropped in zone, read the play. Everything's coming forward. They come downhill. They really laid some lumber. The hold was on number 0, Braden Downey. I believe it was kind of taking out the defensive end. But, when you're going to hold, there you can see it easily when it's on the defensive end because they're right at the end and that official has a clear view. In any case, great defense so far by St. Francis. They've had the answer each time for St. Joe's to stop them.
So St. Joe's will punt. Dominic Cook and Aiden Hopwood back deep to reserve this punt if it happens before the end of the quarter, and I don't think it will. It will not. After one quarter, St. Francis 14, St. Joe's nothing. You're watching Monsignor Martin High School football on Western New York Athletics.
Why do you exercise? To look better? To feel better? To drop a few pounds? To train for an event? To defy age? Or to keep your ability to say yes to the things you love to do? Whatever motivates you, G&G Fitness Equipment is here to get you there. Treadmills, ellipticals, rowers, bikes, home gyms, and accessories. We'll pair you with the right equipment, teach you how to use it, and be there every step of your fitness journey. G&G Fitness. Your goal is our goal.
Second quarter about to start as St. Joe's will punt it away.
And
Hopwood and Cook back deep.
Stu, I've been thinking though, St. Joe's got to tighten up their punt blocking. They've had two that are very close.
And that one was almost blocked too. Ball takes a bounce and they'll let it roll. It'll take a St. Joe's bounce and it'll roll down inside the 15-yard line where John Marie Musumbu will down it. It'll be first and 10 for St. Francis from their own 14-yard line.
Well, what we've seen from St. Francis so far is what I think we're going to see on this drive. We'll see. We'll see how good of a forecaster I am. But with a 14-point lead, they've been dominating on the ground, ball possession time. I don't see there's any reason why they would not want to just keep practicing that and do that. Hold on to the ball, wear down the defense even more. And as I said, you wear down the defense in the first and second quarters so you can dominate the third and fourth quarters against a defense. So you know what that means. They're going to throw it long right here.
Well, they've tried it a couple of times. And there's the handoff to Cook. Breaks a couple of tackles. Did some nice dancing there. Didn't get many yards, did Dominic Cook Jr., but you can see how good his feet are and how well he moves.
Definitely.
2 yard gain, second down and 8 for St. Francis.
There we saw a really nice linebacker play. I think it was number 44 um, for St. Joe's, Stone Rozak.
And it's another handoff and another short gain by Cook. Short gain will bring up third down. This is only the second third down, I think, that St. Francis has really faced. And there was one or two maybe on that first drive. Evan Necker and Aiden Hopwood come into the game for St. Francis. Third down,
Really like
third and 3.
really like the defensive tackle play the last couple plays. Those boys said they had enough. They were both this last play, both inside tackles had two people blocking them. They held their ground and minimized the run.
Buttles looks to pass, throws. The ball's knocked up in the air, and it's incomplete. And St. Joe's comes up with a big and necessary stop. Damone Harden, I believe, got his arm on that one and knocked it down. Be 4th down and 3. And for the first time today, St. Francis will punt.
They're coming out and
Oh,
they're coming out in regular offense.
they're going for it.
Let's see if they bark and see if they get someone to jump or if they're really going to go for it.
4th and 1, trying to get him to jump, as Paul said. Man goes in motion. Oh, they snap the ball, and it'll be a quick kick by Buttles. And there's no one back to get it. It'll take a high bounce, and it'll bounce all the way down to about the St. Joe's 42-yard line.
Well, that's an idea. We don't see it often, but
And there's a flag on the play. Well, hopefully for St. Joe's sake, this penalty doesn't give St. Francis a first down, which it obviously could.
and of course the St. Franny's guys are all pointing towards St. Joe's.
Well, the flag's at about the 40-yard line of St. Francis. They're pointing toward the St. Joe's end of the field.
I'm assuming though this was after the punt
That's
was
what
in the air, so they're just going to tack it on if it is on Joe's and push him back a little more.
That's what I would think too. I agree. 14-0 St. Francis here early in the second quarter. And we're still waiting for the call. 4 of the officials are huddled together. Here comes Mr. Fuller, the man in the white hat. It looks like it. Well, he pointed towards St. Francis. It's against St. Joe's. Personal foul. And he just gave St. Francis a first down. Personal foul on the Marauders, and St. Francis maintains the possession. A very costly penalty after St. Joe's had them stopped. Let's see where they spot the football.
Man, that's a very interesting call. You know, I'd love to interview referees afterwards. We're not allowed to do that in the real world, but I didn't understand. Maybe all of that occurred before the ball was actually punted. So St. Franny still had possession, so to speak. Those are those nuances of refereeing that and rules I just would love to understand better. I've never actually seen that kind of a call made, but I'm sure it is the correct call and what you do in those situations.
They're marking it off and bringing the ball all the way out to the 36, almost 37-yard line of St. Francis.
You know, Stu, that could have been somewhere on the interior line. Somebody got their hand up underneath the face mask. You know, they would have called it that way as a personal foul. It had to be something very quick off the snap.
1st and 10 at the 37 for the Red Raiders. Buttles takes the snap, hands it off to Clark, and he barrels forward and gets shoved back. They're sticking with the ground game, and St. Joe's has tightened up the defense. That's about only 3 yards before a gang of tacklers brought him down.
Yep, that was the same kind of duo blocking on the left side, but one-on-one blocking on the right. And I didn't quite see the St. Joe's player. Even made a nice play beat the block and got the tackle done. But still, 3 yards, almost 4 yards on the gain. So you'll take that. You'll take those 4 yards every 3 plays and just march down there if you want, or if you can do that.
2nd and 7 for St. Francis. This drive kept alive by a penalty on St. Joe's. Buttles takes the snap, fakes the handoff. He's going to throw it. He throws. Caught. Nice catch.
Wow.
All the way down inside the 35-yard line. Matthew Zelensky went up, jumped up, and made the catch. And a big first down and a big gain for St. Francis.
Wow, that was just a textbook seam run down the middle of the field, turn and overthrew all the defenders, and just a great catch.
Great throw, too. Great time to throw. He had all
Great
kinds
timing.
of time to throw,
Yeah,
right?
and you really needed that kind of protection for that play to work. One thing I noticed about the St. Francis receivers, they're tall. They got length. Um, so when you're throwing it, you can you can throw it a little bit higher and have a guy high point it. Um, Great throw, great play.
St. Joe's takes a timeout. 9:01 to go in the second quarter, and it's 14-0. St. Francis leading St. Joe's.
Why do you exercise? To look better? To feel better? To drop a few pounds? To train for an event? To defy age? Or to keep your ability to say yes to the things you love to do? Whatever motivates you, G&G Fitness Equipment is here to get you there. Treadmills, ellipticals, rowers, bikes, home gyms, and accessories. We'll pair you with the right equipment, teach you how to use it, and be there every step of your fitness journey. G&G Fitness. Your goal is our goal.
1st and 10, St. Francis. Buttles in the shotgun. Takes the snap. Hands it off, and Cook has very little room to run. Excuse me, that was Clark. And I think he may have lost a yard or two. And there's another flag on the play. Let's see what this one is. It might be a holding on St. Francis. Let's see. No, it looks like it's going against St. Joe's. The way the official with the football is pointing. Body language says it's going against St. Joe's. Another personal foul against St. Joe's. It'll be another St. Francis first down. That's back-to-back personal fouls on St. Joe's. Very costly penalties.
Very costly, and football, it's a game of aggression, but you have to keep it within the lines. Right now, St. Joe's defense isn't doing themselves any favors.
1st and 10 at the 18 for St. Francis. Buttles back to pass. He's got time. He throws toward the end zone. Caught. Touchdown. What a throw and catch. Mason Anderson hauls it in and makes it 20-0 St. Francis. An 18-yard hookup.
Do you say that was too easy or just great execution? Whatever you want to say, that was a pretty play.
Well, unfortunately for St. Joe's, they helped St. Francis out with those two personal fouls.
Yeah.
That'll be a big topic of discussion, I'm sure, at practice this week.
But Stu, we talk about controlling the ground. When they were more in their side of the field, their side of the 50, St. Franny's, they were willing to just grind it. Once they moved it up a little bit, they know they can dominate in the air too, and they just did.
Great pass protection again. That kick is no good, so the score remains 20-0. And St. Joe's will tell you that's probably the first thing that's gone right for us today, since the opening kickoff, anyway.
True. You mentioned the line play. There's a couple trench award nominees that are being looked at for St. Francis. I've been watching number 55, the center William Wortketter, and number 77, Tim McCain. He's the right tackle. If you talk about domination, I was watching, particularly, I can see 77 easier. Man, once he gets his hooks onto you, he can drive block. He can turn you upper body if you're up too high. Kid can play football. Both of them, very good prospects and really on a dominant offensive line so far today.
Today's game being brought to you by Damon University, Richmond Vona LLC, Logistics Plus of Buffalo, G&G Fitness, Wingnuts Buffalo, SUNY Cortland, Pathfinder College Planning, and Cha-Cha Injury Attorneys, 510 Toy Shop and Sports Cards, The Mental Match with Sam Recco, Canisius High School, St. Joe's Collegiate Institute, St. Francis High School, the Trench Trophy, Lewis and Lewis PC, and Colvin Cleaners. As St. Francis is set to kick it off one more time, 20-0. The Red Raiders have the lead here in the second quarter. High end over end short kick. It'll bounce. That's a free ball, and St. Francis has it. What an alert play by St. Francis, where it'll be 1st and 10. Number 29 recovers the kick. Jacob Jones very alertly fell on the ball. It'll be 1st and 10, St. Francis. Well done. Special teams.
Special teams. I was just thinking to myself, in football, unfortunately, when you got the team on the run, it's a good idea to show no mercy.
True.
St. Franny's is up 20-0. They have a little room for error. Maybe that wouldn't have worked so good if Joe's uh, receiver would have come up and just on the fly could have been going very fast and doing it. Maybe they saw something on previous film, like that area sometimes is left alone. It happened, and now St. Francis once again back to offense. And again, I would not be surprised they just decide to ground and pound.
They got to throw it back for him. You know he wants to score this game.
And it's a play action pass. Buttles goes deep, far side. Oh, incomplete. Great play. Intended for Aiden Hopwood. Eli Robinson broke up the pass play. Very nice play by Robinson.
Did you ever say something out loud and then you wish you hadn't said it? I said all that, and then I'm watching these two guys going in motion. I go, there's no way they're heading that ball off now.
What you said?
Well, once again, good time. Buttles had good time, good pass protection.
Yep, little play action because those guys go in motion. They're freezing up some players and they're taking a couple with them. And then a little play, a little fake handoff freezes all the linebackers of the defensive line, and Buttle's been back there unharmed.
Buttles throws. Nice catch on the far side. What a catch by Aiden Hopwood. And I think that is another first down for St. Francis. Well, let's see. Is there a flag? Yep, there's a flag out there. That's back in the area of holding. And that one might go against St. Francis. It was a great catch. Take nothing away from the catch,
No,
though.
I just thought that's a man's catch.
That's a great way to describe it.
Yeah.
And again, Buttles his throws right on the money.
Right on the money. I talked a little bit about high pointing the ball. What I love about these St. Francis receivers so far, I've been seeing nobody's waiting to catch it in their breadbasket. They are taller. They get their arms up even higher, and as a quarterback, that gives you a little bit more radius that you can get the ball and doesn't have to be a perfect throw. Although those balls all looked great to me, but high pointing the ball with good receivers. St. Francis right now this half has had their way.
Buttles back to pass. Is being chased. Rolls to the right. Throws. Almost intercepted. Intended for Mason Anderson. And that was right in the hands of Marquand Hutchins. And he should have caught that. Unfortunately for St. Joe's, he couldn't hang on to it. Now it's 3rd and 20 from the St. Joe's 44 for St. Francis.
Hutchins did everything so perfectly. Kind of hid off shoulder. Watched the ball throw, bursts on it, just couldn't bring it in.
Another good spot for a screen pass like they ran earlier. Just let them come. See if they do that. Buttles back to pass. Throws. Incomplete on the near side. Intended for Cook. We'll bring up fourth down.
You know, on Joe's side, number 22, David Amuka. He basically blows up that play, Stu. It's a wheel route, wide open. The problem was Buttles had not enough time to get set and throw. That heat came very fast by number 22. Great job by the St. Joe's linebacker.
And that's the Buttles with hunted last time. And I wouldn't be surprised to see it again on 4th and 20 from the St. Joe's 44. Buttles, he's going to throw it. And he gets away from two defenders. He's going to run. He's got room to run. Still on his feet. He's got a first down and then some. Trent Buttles all the way down to the St. Joe's 15-yard line. What a run. Oh, we've got an injured player. It's a St. Francis player down back near the 50. A 28-yard run, and hopefully whoever that is down is okay. I cannot see a number. From the size of the young man, I'm going to say he's a lineman. But hopefully he's all right.
Stu, as that play developed, not only did Buttles take advantage of the little gap there, but I was watching as he breaks into as he breaks just past the 10 yards he's gained, right? I'm watching Aiden Hopwood come in, and he just leveled the would-be tackler. And so you get an extra 10, 12 yards just from that block.
It's number 77. That's Tim McCann. And he's kind of hopping over to the St. Francis bench. Hopefully he's all right, able to return to the game. Now he's walking a little bit more. He's on the sidelines. Great run by Buttles, the way he avoided the two guys who had him in the backfield. And he avoided them.
He stepped through the arm tackles. He's a big kid. You're gonna have to like get a hold of him. What I love though, I love to see that downfield blocking by wide receivers because they're being his best friend, man. He picked up another 10, 12 yards just because of that nice block.
So it's 1st and 10 for St. Francis. Ball on the 16-yard line. And it looks like we've got a timeout on the field. Timeout taken by the Marauders. It is 20-0 St. Francis with 7:33 to go in the second quarter. You're watching Monsignor Martin High School football on Western New York Athletics.
Why do you exercise? To look better? To feel better? To drop a few pounds? To train for an event? To defy age? Or to keep your ability to say yes to the things you love to do? Whatever motivates you, G&G Fitness Equipment is here to get you there. Treadmills, ellipticals, rowers, bikes, home gyms, and accessories. We'll pair you with the right equipment, teach you how to use it, and be there every step of your fitness journey. G&G Fitness. Your goal is our goal.
First and 10, St. Francis at the St. Joe's 16-yard line as the teams are huddled around their coaches during this timeout. Been a dominant half by St. Francis.
So we've been watching on the sidelines the trainers with Tim McCann trying to put him through his paces. He looks like he's moving okay, but you can see he's got a little struggle in that left ankle. He'll probably sit the rest of this half, maybe come in the second half. With this lead, I don't think there's any need to force anything. Of course, the player himself is saying he's fine, but the trainer had him do a few things that he can watch, and it's noticeable. He's still got quite the limp.
The young man is 290 pounds. And there's a handoff, and right up the middle goes Clark. He's inside the 10-yard line. Second down.
Again, nice duo blocking on the right side for St. Francis. Just set the edge not set the edge, but I mean push the tackles wide and just a big hole there.
Cheatham on the tackle. Clark gets the ball again, goes up the middle. He's inside the 5, and it's pushing and shoving both ways. And he's brought down. Looks like he's shy of the goal line, but it's first and goal. Looks like from the 1 yard line. Well, a mass of humanity moving that pile.
It's changed over the years too. 20 years ago, that whistle would have blown. Now you get almost a scrum as a rugby game going on.
Shotgun snap to Buttles. Clark gets the ball. He's into the end zone for the touchdown. And it's 26-0 St. Francis. As a dominant first half continues for the team in the white jerseys.
Yep, just big hole on the left side between the guard and the center. Great blocking. Those are like basically, if you're a lineman, you're taking maybe one step, and you really just want to turn the player. You want to turn the defender, so that he's just standing straight up, and that's what I saw there. And he just walks in.
Well, let's see if looks like St. Francis is going to go for 2 here.
You want to get the point back.
And this time Buttles will go under center. And he'll hand it off, and it is good. Taken into the end zone. And it's 28-0. So St. Francis gets back those points. Or point, actually, I should say. 6:36 to go in the first half. Want to remind everybody our featured sponsors for today's games are Damon University, Richmond Vona LLC, Logistics Plus of Buffalo, G&G Fitness, Buffalo, SUNY Cortland, Pathfire College Planning, Dan Chacha Injury Attorneys, 510 Toy Shop and Sports Cards, The Mental Match with Sam Recco, Canisius High School, St. Joseph's Collegiate Institute, St. Francis High School, the Trench Trophy recognizing the top linemen in Western New York, Lewis and Lewis, PC, 37 Franklin Street, Buffalo, New York, and Colvin Cleaners, Elmwood Avenue in Kenmore, New York. I want to thank all those sponsors as St. Francis gets set to kick off. One more from outside of the opening kickoff. St. Joe's had a nice 51-yard return, but since then, this game has been all St. Francis in every phase.
I'd set up on this kick, Stu.
Well, they already got it recovered one. There's a high end over end kick caught, and two St. Joe's guys collide, and they're down at about their own 28-yard line. Looked like Brendan Thompson was one of those who collided or was trying to tell the other guy not to return it. I'm not sure what happened there, but somebody
Miscommunicated.
yes, yeah, that's the best way to put it.
It looked like a left field center fielder with the pop up trying to get to it.
Yeah, I got it, you take it, right?
Yep, and that's a very dangerous thing to do. I noticed as the kickoff was starting. Reason I mentioned it, they had the ball tilted. I didn't know if he was going to actually just try to onside, or they're just going to keep doing that and try to get the ball back and, you know, kind of muffle any kind of return.
Keel throws deep down the far side, incomplete.
Yeah.
And there's a flag on the play. That'll be pass interference against St. Francis.
I think it was number 26, Andre Amos. Had a little too much hands on the jersey, so to speak.
So that'll give St. Joe's a first down today.
On St. Francis.
Oh, they're going to call that holding. A rare St. Francis mistake today.
I'll go with that over pass interference.
Okay.
Really, it was a tug on the jersey.
Well, either way, it's a first down for St. Joe's. The ball at their own 39-yard line. Brendan Keel at quarterback for the Marauders. Takes the shotgun snap. He's going to put it in the air. He's flushed out of the pocket, rolls to the far side, throws, and he just threw that one away.
Smart. I was counting how much time he had. He had less than 2 seconds before he got flushed out of the pocket. When you're up this much, the defensive linemen are going to go one way.
You pin your ears back and go get them.
Yeah, they're not worried about playing the run any longer.
Second down and 10 for St. Joe's. All still at their own 39-yard line. Shotgun snap, thrown on the far side, caught and dropped. And that was Giovanni Ostrander who had it and then dropped it. I think he started to run before he secured it.
Ostrander definitely thought, like, I got the ball, I'm moving quickly. It's that half second that caused him to drop it.
You know, you can't get all 28 points back in one play, right? So you
No.
gotta make that catch.
Make the catch, get some yardage, and hopefully break it for a touchdown, but first catch it.
3rd and 10. Keel rolls right, throws, and incomplete. Intended for Owen Kosinski, and that'll bring up 4th down for St. Joe's. And there's a flag in the backfield. Let's see. Holding on St. Joe's, and it's declined. It'll be 4th down. Well, this has just not been St. Joe's half in any way, shape, or form.
No, you're really seeing a dominant performance by the defensive line for St. Francis. That time, I've been trying to just keep count. How many seconds does he have to throw? Much less than 2 seconds.
Well, 4th and 10. They're lined up to go for it. Let's see what they come up with here. And they got them to jump, it looks like. So it'll be 4th and 5. So St. Francis jumps offside, makes it 4th and much more manageable.
And good for St. Joe's for going for it at this point. Just try to get something positive going.
And Keel looks to throw. He's running to the near side, flushed out, throws, and it's caught. Cameron Chin, and that's a St. Joe's first down. A big 4th down conversion. Nice throw and catch. Good play by Keel. Good play by Chin. And it'll be 1st and 10 from the St. Francis 47-yard line for St. Joe's.
Tip of the hat to Keel. That's very difficult to do. He's a right-handed quarterback running left. He knew he couldn't make that first down. Stayed without crossing the line of scrimmage, which is the most important. Turns and just really fires in that ball. That was really a hard pass to complete, and that's a nice looking play. So maybe something good now. If you're St. Joe's, hey, something good. We can move the ball. Let's keep our heads. Let's get something good.
Keel takes the ball, rolls to the right. He's under pressure, and down he goes. 3 of them got there. Terrence Ware in on the sack. And it'll take him all the way back to about the 47-yard line of St. Joe's, where it'll bring 2nd down and long.
And unfortunately for St. Joe's there, St. Francis, here's a little new thing they're doing. Instead of rushing 4 and maybe somebody coming as the 5th, this time it goes 6. Well, there's only 5 linemen, so there's only 5 hats you can put onto one of the defenders, and St. Francis just basically blew up that play that way.
Even I can do that math. 6 is more than 5.
6 is more than 5.
Keel takes the shotgun snap, back to pass. He throws, and it's dropped again. Owen Kaczynski drops it. And again, he turned to run before he secured the ball. I think the desire to make a big play is so strong.
It is, but it's discipline. They practice that play, and now that is a great alternative. When you saw that, they were basically in the same defensive front. They're coming with 6. That play could have popped. It probably could have popped for that first down at least. But as you had said, you can't win it on one play. You just got to win this play.
3rd down and 19. Keel back to pass. He throws. It's caught. And at about the 46-yard line, Braden Downey catches it. LaFaris Green on the tackle. And it'll be 4th down, and St. Joe's will stay on the field.
Back to the original line of scrimmage, 4th down.
4th down for the Marauders. A reminder to look for Tony Fiorello's writings on the Western New York Athletic homepage. Tony's here today, writing no doubt a game recap and perhaps a sidebar or 2. Here's Keel back to pass. Rolls out to the right. He throws, and it's caught. And that is a 1st down. Nice throw and catch, Giovanni Ostrander. caught that one, and Keel put it in the spot where only he could catch it. Nice
Exactly.
throw.
You just took the thoughts right out of my head. It was a great rollout. Um, this time, St. Francis called off the dogs. They only rushed 5, but pretty much straight up. They weren't overloaded. The last few times they were overloaded, either right or left. Any case, rolls to the right, perfect execution, excellent throw, right on the mark. Good for St. Joe's. And again, Stu, it's whatever positive you can glean out of every play. My thoughts were Steve Tasker about the comeback game for the Bills. What were they thinking? And he had said, honestly, they just talked about it at halftime. We're going to win one play at a time. And for St. Joe's, who knows? You come back from 28 nothing and miracle comeback, etc. It all starts one play at a time. That just what you were saying. Don't try to win it on one play, but do try to win the play.
Didn't Jacksonville come back in a playoff game down 28-0 to Indianapolis, or was it the other way around? I don't remember which way, but there was a 28-0 comeback in the playoffs.
So I mean, it can happen, right? You need a lot of good fortune. Hey, we didn't have what is that? The assist referee that would have noticed that BB stepped out
Oh
of
yeah,
bounds before the touchdown.
yeah. Thank goodness we didn't have
Right?
that. Yeah, the
You know,
comeback game never happened, or might not have happened.
Nate Odom's kind of pulled on Highsmith's jersey, the interception and the over, all those things happen. But the mindset, and I love the mindset. Something I've said to my kids growing up: you only have to do one thing. You don't have to do everything.
That's right. 1st and 10 from the St. Francis 36 for St. Joe's. This is, I believe, their best field position of the day for the Marauders. Keel takes the shotgun snap, throws to the near side, dropped again. Owen Kaczynski, I think that's the 3rd ball he's dropped today. He's having a tough day.
Tough day. To our point, Keel seeing the Franny's again 6-man line coming at him, kind of overloaded to the left. So what does he do? He looks to his left, which is open. Just got to catch the ball. He needs his friend to catch that ball, pick up 5, go to the next play.
2nd down and 10. Keel back to pass, flushed out, and he flips the ball up in the air. And he made a nice play there. It'll be called an incomplete pass. Very smart play by the quarterback, as he was under a lot of pressure and
He was
about
going
to be
down.
brought down by Larry Hardy III.
Yeah, great rush by Hardy. And what, Keel, there's been a few plays during this game that I would, if you're putting together a little highlight, I know that didn't work, but that's a smart play.
He was fortunate that there was no one there in a white shirt, and that's probably why he tossed it in that area.
Yep, he saw it. Franny's was dropping back in zone, so there was that open area, but that's smart quarterback play.
3rd down, back to pass, rolls to the right, throws, and he threw that one away too. It'll bring up a 4th down. 4th and 10 for St. Joe's
So
at
you,
the St. Francis 36-yard line.
so some folks might say, "Oh, why did he do that?" Because he knows I got one more down. He had absolutely there was nobody open. I think he only had 2 receivers on that side in any case, but I like the play. I know it's hard to take, but you got one more down, so let's see what he can do here. Let's see what St. Joe's can do here. Can they pick up this long 1st down?
4th and 10. Back to pass, Keel. And he will not get that pass off. He's brought down by number 98, Damon McGuire. Huge sack there, and St. Francis will take over on downs. Well, Keel had
No, McCrear just came flying untouched. And he didn't do it he didn't go over the top of the quarterback.
No.
Kind of try to duck under, but great tackle, really. That's being under control.
1st and 10, St. Francis. So the St. Joe's drive, they gain some yards, but no points. And St. Francis still leads 28-0. 3:35 to go in the first half. See if St. Francis will keep this on the ground. Try to run out the clock in the first half. A lot of time left, though. 3.5 minutes plus.
in high school football. That's a long time.
And Buttles, he's going to throw it. He's going to throw it deep downfield. Incomplete, almost. Big gain there, intended for Kenny Litzinger, and a great defensive play. Again, that ball's pretty much on the money.
Yep. I was watching the referee. He let them battle it out. He kind of had his arm. I think he rethought the play. I thought it was a pretty clean play by the defender. So, um, is one movie guy said, I forget, let him play, ref, let him play.
I don't know. Was that from Hoosiers? I'm not.
No, I think it was from Remember the
Oh,
Titans.
great movie.
Let him play, ref. Let him play. Let
Love,
the boys play.
love that movie. So second down and 10.
And this is interesting because with this big lead, St. Francis just comes out in the spread and they just want to throw it now.
Here comes Buttles. He avoids one man, still avoids another, gets down the sideline on the far side. Oh, the ball's knocked out. And who's got it? I think St. Joe's got the ball. One of the few mistakes Buttles has made today. It's St. Joe's football. Giovanni Ostrander, I believe, gets the football as Buttles has it knocked out of his hand. He ran around there, was beginning to gain some yardage when someone got a hand on it,
I was
knocked it out.
so impressed by Buttle's speed. I didn't realize he's that fast. Basically did a couple dipsy doozies and doodles and made his way, but one mistake. As he's getting closer to the defense, he was still holding that ball way off it, way outside. So a good defensive play. It was actually a great offensive run, but he'll go back to the film on Monday or tomorrow whenever they look at it, and he'll probably get told when you break free, tuck the ball up. But for St. Joe's, this might be the opportunity to get some good stuff happening on offense before the half.
Keel, back to pass. He throws deep downfield on the far side, incomplete. And a couple of players got their feet tangled up. Caden Wright on the defense, and it's incomplete. And this half has lasted more than an hour, and there's still 3 minutes to play.
You know what's funny, Stu? Earlier in the game, I thought the officiating was really tight. There was a little bit of a hold again on the receiver there, but as we saw on the flip side, the referees are kind of keeping their hankies in now. Kind of odd. It's kind of odd because as a player, you're not quite sure how much you can get away with.
So second down and 10 for St. Joe's. Keel back to pass and back to pass, and he flips it up in the air, and it was caught. If he stayed in bounds, great catch by Zion Knight. Keel somehow flipped that up in the air, and it was caught. Wow, what a play!
That's a great play. I was thinking about myself. That's a magician right there, right? Quick-handed. He's going down again. There's no doubt. This time, his receiver said, "Hey, I'm going to come up and give my quarterback a little support." Didn't really pick up much. Oh, now he stepped out of bounds, so they didn't give it to him. But overall, that's a smart play by the receiver. Come back, give your quarterback a target.
Third down and 10 at the 43 for St. Joe's. Maybe they called it incomplete. There's a throw and an incomplete pass intended for Ostrander. And that'll bring up a fourth down.
I think his foot landed out of
Oh,
bounds.
that's right. It had to be, right? It's still a great catch. We'll give him the catch. We'll pretend it was college football.
There you go.
Great catch. Great effort play. It'll bring up fourth and 10 from the 43. St. Joe's has converted a couple of these. Fourth and 10 for St. Joe's. Looks like they changed the play. Everybody checks their wrists. Keel takes the snap, short pass, and he bounces it in the dirt, intended for Kaczynski, and St. Francis will take over on downs at the St. Joe's 43-yard line. Let's see if big number 77 goes back out there. for St. Francis.
They were around 43 yards.
He was not in the last drive.
Well, I think you made the point earlier. There's no reason for him to go back out there at this point. And I don't see him on the sidelines.
You got Jay back in there?
Maybe unless that could be him. No, that's 72 without his equipment on.
Yeah, truthfully, Stu, when I was watching him do his movement along the sideline, I never saw him actually take a clean step and put weight onto his. Looked to me like his left ankle. So it's interesting because we're trying to find him on the sideline. Yeah, I haven't seen him. He might have just taken his jersey off.
Buttles rolls to the right, throws, it's caught. Nice catch. Matthew Zielinski on the reception.
The reception.
Second down. Less than 2 minutes to go in the half. And it's at the 38-yard line, second down and 6 for St. Francis.
Say Buttles has a strong arm, and especially when he can roll out onto his right, he's got a nice toss.
Here's Buttles to throw it again. Almost caught. Nice and great effort there. Up too high for Mason Anderson. Bring up a third down and 6 for St. Francis.
First time I've seen Buttles really trot back and fire it without setting himself a little bit, and that ball just went high on him. I know they're working against the clock too. That's playing a part of it, but as we've said before, one step at a time with these plays.
Buttles, he's going to throw it again. Plenty of time now. He's being chased. Gets away from one man, and he'll fire it. Caught. And a sidestep. Nice catch. Great run, and finally brought down inside the 20 is Aiden Hopwood. Wow, what a play. Buttles avoiding the rush. He made a great play avoiding 2 rushers, then got a block, then found Hopwood, who made a nice catch.
I love his ability to spin. Now he's spinning to this weak side for him because he's right-handed. He's going left, but I was watching his head. He was looking downfield the entire time, and then Hopwood just comes back to the ball, and he's just wide open.
And here he goes again. Buttles looks to throw. He fires it deep, and he threw it out of the end zone. Smart play there. He's done a great job avoiding the rush. And the guys like that have to drive defensive linemen crazy. Flag on the play, an illegal man downfield against St. Francis.
Yeah, Buttles, I don't know if it was his hand or his foot. He's just kind of saw something happen, kind of shook his hand, but he was also kind of tender on his feet. I love his ability, his escapability, though.
He plays quarterback and free safety. He's a 185-pounder. Rock solid and a big hitter on defense.
Guys like him I call slippery. You know, just smooth.
First and 15 from the 38-yard line for St. Francis. Up 28-0. And this time the play action pass is dropped. Mason Anderson dropped that one. One of the rare drops that St. Francis has had. That's afflicted St. Joe's today, but not St. Francis.
Yeah, that ball came out of Buttles' hand a little funny. The nose was actually down a little, but very, very catchable. But it was a little weird looking, and probably to Anderson, just didn't get his hands on there in the clamp.
Oh no, he's got to stay. We got man. It's cheating. That's got to do. It's cheating. Yeah.
Second down. You get a whistle. And a timeout on the field. We'll take a timeout. Just over 48 seconds remaining. 28-0 St. Francis. You're watching Western New York Athletics.
Why do you exercise? To look better? To feel better? To drop a few pounds? To train for an event? To defy age? Or to keep your ability to say yes to the things you love to do? Whatever motivates you, G&G Fitness Equipment is here to get you there. Treadmills, ellipticals, rowers, bikes, home gyms, and accessories. We'll pair you with the right equipment, teach you how to use it, and be there every step of your fitness journey. G&G Fitness. Your goal is our goal.
Second down and 15 for the Red Raiders. Buttles looks to throw. He throws incomplete. And we got a flag in the end zone as Aiden Hopwood and the defensive player collided, or Hopwood was taken down, however you want to call it. But I think that's going to go against St. Joe's.
Yes, I think you're clear on your eyesight. He was taken down. It's a shame, too, because that ball was not going to be caught. There's no doubt it's interference to me.
So, pass interference on St. Joe's.
Second down.
Spot the ball at about the 11-yard line. It'll still be second down for St. Francis as they try to add more points here late in the first half. 42 seconds to go.
Boy, Stu, look at the compression on the offensive line, how tight everybody is, but how wide the wideout is.
And the throw is knocked up in the air and intercepted. If they call it a completed pass, it was tipped at the line of scrimmage, intercepted by Stone Rozak. It'll be St. Joe's ball deep in their own end of the field. I don't know which defensive lineman got a hand on that, but one of them did, and then Rozak did the rest.
Yeah, saved the touchdown. Mason Anderson came out like he was going to maybe go to the right side. First of all, he's wide out, and everybody else is so compressed. I'm thinking he's going to post it into the middle. He did exactly what I thought, but on his route, he runs, puts his right foot down. Cornerback kind of moves to the left, cuts to his left. He's wide open. That's a big play by St. Joe's. Big play, save points.
And Keel takes the shotgun snap and hands it off to Osinski, and he's got a short gain. And we're coming up on the final seconds of the first half. Second down and 5 for St. Joe's. And that just might be the last play of the half. I don't think anyone called the timeout. They're just going to let the clock run out. And that will do it for the first half. At halftime, St. Francis 28, St. Joe's nothing. You're watching Monsignor Martin High School football on Western New York Athletics.
At Richmond Vona, we are seriously dedicated to bettering the communities that we serve.
You will get super high level communication, and you are getting a team of dedicated attorneys, paralegals.
If you put your trust in us and hire us, we promise to take care of everything. Call us as soon as possible so we can start the investigation to fight to get you the settlement you deserve.
Wing nuts. You still got to go.
Have you guys tried Room 40 yet?
Looking for the perfect spot to throw your next party? Say hello to Room 40, our private event space at both Wingnuts locations. Maybe you got a birthday, a graduation, anniversary, business event, rehearsal dinner, or even a sports banquet. From intimate get-togethers to rowdy celebrations, Room 40 is built to handle it all and fits up to 60 guests, with custom food and drink packages, flexible setups, legendary Wingnuts hospitality, and all the wings you can handle. If you're planning a celebration or get-together in Buffalo, this is where the party's at. Local vibes, zero stress, all fun. Book Room 40 today and throw a party Buffalo won't forget. Hit the link in our bio or visit wingnutsbuffalo.com/room40 to book now.
All right, well, we'll get
I'll
you to
go
Wingnuts.
if you go to Wingnuts.
Deal.
Why do you exercise? To look better? To feel better? To drop a few pounds? To train for an event? To defy age? Or to keep your ability to say yes to the things you love to do? Whatever motivates you, G&G Fitness Equipment is here to get you there. Treadmills, ellipticals, rowers, bikes, home gyms, and accessories. We'll pair you with the right equipment, teach you how to use it, and be there every step of your fitness journey. G&G Fitness. Your goal is our goal.
I'm George Wiley, a senior at Canisius High School. As the only Jesuit high school in Western New York, Canisius delivers a life-changing education. Canisius prepares young men for acceptance into the nation's finest universities, and our community supports us at each step of our journey. We are proud of our excellent athletics and our emphasis on service. This place is special. Let us show you why.
Experience firsthand the excellence of Canisius High School. Schedule your visit at canisiushigh.org.
Logistics Plus is a global transportation provider headquartered in Erie, PA, with locations worldwide, including right here in Western New York. Logistics Plus is consistently recognized as a fast-growing transportation and logistics company, great supply chain partner, top freight broker, leading project cargo manager, and a great place to work. With a strong passion for excellence, our 500-plus employees put the plus in logistics.
For an efficient, personal approach for all of your transportation needs, more information about our Buffalo office is available at logisticsplus.com/Buffalo.
Look, Patriot account is not going to close itself. Looks like you're going to be here late again. I need this by morning.
Oh no, not again. My son has a football game tonight.
At WNYAthletics.com. You can thank me later.
WNYAthletics, your home for high school sports.
Yes.
Are you an AD struggling to keep up with the social media needs of your teams? Check out Box Out Sports, a platform used by colleges and high schools all across the country. It's a true plug-and-play system where in less than 30 seconds you have access to over 1,000 templates that include your colors, your logos, and your information to highlight your student athletes. If you're interested in learning more, go to boxoutsports.com today.
Francis, 28-0. The Red Raiders lead this one. And Paul, this has been a very dominant performance by St. Francis.
Oh, yes. No doubt. Offensive line play, outstanding for St. Francis. Great defensive pressure. They changed their defensive pressure schemes up in the second quarter. What I like so far about St. Francis's game, not only are they dominating, they're digging deep into their playbook. They're experimenting with different concepts, different things. But you know, with a big lead, you get to do that. On St. Joe's side, I really would just, if I were the coach, guys, I'm going to channel my Steve Tasker. We just have to win one play at a time. This is what we're going to do in the second half. Nobody's got to be a hero. Nobody's scoring 35 points on one catch. One play at a time. And let's see if we can come back and make a game of this.
All right, at halftime, St. Francis 28, St. Joe's nothing. You're watching high school football on Western New York Athletics.
Welcome to this production from Western New York Athletics. Our featured sponsors for today's game are Damon University. Damon University is a private, non-sectarian university in Amherst, New York, offering undergraduate and graduate level degrees. Visit damon.edu to schedule a tour today. Richmond Vona LLC is committed to you. Being involved in a serious accident creates a whirlwind of changes. We know how serious the effects of a car accident can be on the victims and their families. At Richmond Vona LLC, we have helped our clients recover over $175 million. We have the skills and experience needed to handle a full range of car accident claims, including those with multiple parties and catastrophic injuries. Call 716-671-4341 for your free consultation today, or visit richmondvona.com. Colvin Cleaners, Western New York's premier green earth dry cleaner. Dry cleaning, wash and fold laundry, shirts, and tailoring. 2375 Elmwood Avenue, Kenmore. Call 716-873-2952. Logistics Plus of Buffalo. For all of your transportation needs, full truckload, LTL, dedicated and drop trailer moves, Logistics Plus of Buffalo is a one-stop shop. Email buffalo@logisticsplus.com for your next shipment or warehousing needs. G&G Fitness Equipment is a full-service provider of specialty home and commercial fitness equipment. Locations in Buffalo, Rochester, and Syracuse. Visit livefit.com. Wingnuts Buffalo, located near the Buffalo Airport at 4600 Genesee Street. Dine in or order for takeout. Open Monday to Sunday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Visit wingnutsbuffalo.com. SUNY Cortland stands out as one of New York's top public universities. A medium-sized school that offers academic strength across 68 majors, a high quality of student life, and a degree that pays back graduates. Visit www.cortland.edu to schedule a visit today. Binghamton University. A world-class institution, Binghamton University offers students a broad, interdisciplinary education with an international perspective and one of the most vibrant research programs in the nation. Visit www.binghamton.edu today. We would also like to thank Pathfinder College Planning, Dan Cha-Cha Injury Attorneys, 510 Toy Shop and Sports Cards, The Mental Match with Sam Recco, Canisius High School, St. Joseph's Collegiate Institute, St. Francis High School, Trench Trophy, recognizing the top linemen in Western New York, Lewis & Lewis PC, 37 Franklin Street, Buffalo, New York, B&T Supply, and Western Division, home of the Great Rate.
Look, Patriot account is not going to close itself. Looks like you're going to be here late again. I need this by morning.
Oh no, not again. My son has a football game tonight.
At WNYAthletics.com. You can thank me later.
WNY Athletics, your home for high school sports.
Yes.
Logistics Plus is a global transportation provider headquartered in Erie, PA with locations worldwide, including right here in Western New York. Logistics Plus is consistently recognized as a fast-growing transportation and logistics company, great supply chain partner, top freight broker, leading project cargo manager, and a great place to work. With a strong passion for excellence, our 500-plus employees put the plus in logistics.
For an efficient, personal approach for all of your transportation needs, more information about our Buffalo office is available at logisticsplus.com/Buffalo.
Why do you exercise? To look better? To feel better? To drop a few pounds? To train for an event? To defy age? Or to keep your ability to say yes to the things you love to do? Whatever motivates you, G&G Fitness Equipment is here to get you there. Treadmills, ellipticals, rowers, bikes, home gyms, and accessories. We'll pair you with the right equipment, teach you how to use it, and be there every step of your fitness journey. G&G Fitness. Your goal is our goal.
At Richmond Vona, we are seriously dedicated to bettering the communities that we serve.
You will get super high level communication, and you are getting a team of dedicated attorneys, paralegals.
If you put your trust in us and hire us, we promise to take care of everything. Call us as soon as possible so we can start the investigation to fight to get you the settlement you deserve.
Welcome back to St. Joe's. This one all St. Francis as we get set to start the third quarter. St. Francis will get the ball to start the third quarter. They lead it 28-0. Our featured sponsors for today's game are Damon University, Richmond Vona, Logistics Plus of Buffalo, G&G Fitness, Wingnuts Buffalo, SUNY Cortland, Pathfinder College Planning, Dan Cha-Cha Injury Attorneys, 510 Toy Shop and Sports Cards, The Mental Match with Sam Recco, Canisius High School, St. Joseph's Collegiate Institute, St. Francis High School, The Trench Trophy, Lewis and Lewis PC, and Colvin Cleaners. We want to thank our sponsors as we get set to start the second half. St. Joe's will kick off. Dominic Cook and Samuel Skalski back deep to return this kickoff. And it's a high kick. It'll go through the end zone. And it'll be 1st and 10 for St. Francis. Now, with a big lead, Paul, in that first half, St. Francis kept on throwing the ball. They went away from the ground game. Well, I wonder if they'll do the same thing here as the second half gets underway.
Good question. We were talking about at halftime. It seemed to me St. Francis went to the deep part of their bag of coaching. They were introducing a lot of different concepts, still trying to put points on the board. And as you said, a lot of it was through the air. So now it's halftime. Let's see if that first half, particularly first quarter when they were running it, trying to wear Joe's down, if they'll just start going back to the ground game.
Buttles remains in the shotgun. Buttles. He'll hand that one off, and that's Cook for no gain, really. Cook, who was here at St. Joe's last year. We were talking to Jerry before the game, and it seems to me that not only at St. Francis are you getting your formal education in the classroom, but if you're going to play football, you're getting a football education
Oh
from
yeah.
that guy.
If you want to hear about football, the theory, the technique from A to Z, Coach Smith, he's the man, and he brings it down to the level of a guy like me. I could understand what he was actually talking about.
2nd and 10 for St. Francis, and it'll be Cook one more time, a very short gain. And it'll bring up a 3rd down for St. Francis.
We see in the first two plays, Stu, just going back to the ground game. A little trap play to begin with, but St. Joe's really sealed it up nicely. And that time, just a little dive over the left side between the center and the guard, and so you got 5 yards on the two runs.
3rd down for St. Francis. Buttles looks to throw under pressure. Now he's going to run, and he breaks a tackle. He's still going to be brought down short of the 1st down, but he did break a tackle. And that should bring up a 4th down. No, he did get the 1st down. My bad. My apologies. I thought he was short. Great run by Buttles. And I do not see number 77, Tim McCann, out there. He got hurt in the first half. He's not in the game, and I can't find him on the sidelines. So if you find him, let us know. And here's 1st and 10 for St. Francis. It'll be a handoff to Cook. He got some room to run, but he got grabbed by the jersey and brought down. And number 55 in on that tackle. Saramuka apparently in on that tackle. 1 yard gain, be 2nd down and 9 for St. Francis.
Last couple trap plays that St. Francis has run, the defensive line has been able to hold up their man, and that linebacker has been able to come in and fill nicely.
Closed here.
2nd down and 9.
Cover.
St. Francis with the first possession of the second half. And this time they'll run it to Clark, and Clark breaks a couple of tackles. And then 3 other St. Joe's players combined to bring him down. Eli Robinson in on that stop with a couple of his teammates. And that'll bring up a 3rd down for St. Francis.
3rd play in a row. I've seen number 55, Darmaine Ubelis, nice player. Just come in, fill up the hole, and then help make the tackle.
3rd down for St. Francis. And they've used up 3 minutes of the 3rd quarter. The clock at this moment, the enemy of St. Joe's, trailing by 28.
2x1, yo 2.
Buttles, back to pass. He throws near side. Caught. Nice catch.
To the outside, it's complete.
It's complete, and a very nice catch by Mason Anderson.
Just dropped it as he
Oh, he
hit
did
the
drop it.
turf.
Well,
Yeah, from our sideline though, we're actually trying to see through the boys, but I was somehow I actually saw the ball pop out. It was rolling along the sideline there.
Well, thank you for that. 4th down, 4th and 7. Buttles has punted it before. He does everything for this team.
And
Watch the motion. They are doing this motion.
And he'll punt it. There's no one back deep. It'll bounce at the 30. Take a St. Francis run. The bounce. Look at him hustle after that and down it all the way back at the St. Joe's 10-yard line. Evan Necker and Mason Anderson hustling after that. So another great special teams play.
You know, Stu, sometimes it's just your day on that punt. It just hits and then hits the turf as it's kind of going end over end and rolls another 20 yards.
And it certainly has been a day for St. Francis.
What's that song? When you're hot, you're hot.
Yes, good old Jerry Wright, I think was the singer, wasn't it? Jerry Wright and
And it was Jerry something. I was thinking Jerry Lewis, but I don't think he was a comedian and singer. Oh, Jerry Reed.
Jerry Reed, that's it. In the movies with was it Burt Reynolds? No, or
Yeah.
Clint Eastwood? Good job. And it's a handoff and nowhere to go for Osinski as he's brought down. And I believe we have Braden Mann's now in at quarterback for St. Joe's. Second down.
Lost one on the
They actually they'll say it's a loss of one, so it'll be second and 11.
So as Coach Corona said, he may juggle both quarterbacks or give them all playing time, and he's been true to his word here. I really did like the game that Keel played in that first half. Unfortunate on a couple plays, but very heads up player. Very heady.
And here's Mann's back to pass. He throws far side, caught. Nice catch and spinning away. Cam Chin on the catch, a nice catch and run. Still short of the first down.
St. Joe's beats a 6-man blitz, basically. Again, you got 6 people on 5 hats. You're trying to get somebody in.
And they'll hand it off to Osinski. He's got a little bit of running room. He's got the first down, breaks through there. Good run by Osinski. And then he'll take it out to about the 27-yard line, where it'll be first and 10 St. Joe's. Good to see Kosinski get a chance to do that and, get some confidence. He's had a tough day so far.
You know, it's funny. I was watching the line play and the tight end for Joe's. They had 2 tight ends out on the left, and the play was changed, and they were just kind of, as they're doing now, they're just checking to make sure. It was a good change of play. St. Francis again with 6, 7 guys up front. If you can pop it, you can get some yards.
That pass is caught and dropped immediately is Ostrander at the 34-yard line, so a short gain. Let's call it 6 yards, a good gain.
So, in my opinion, St. Francis is trying to cut off the running game for anything too large, perhaps, or maybe get a free runner on. But when they're doing that, St. Joe's is countering by just taking what the proverbial take what the defense is giving you. Linebackers were backed off. Now we see St. Francis in a more conventional look.
There's a handoff to Osinski, and he's not going anywhere. 2 or 3 players shove him backwards, including Joshua Egby. And I see Tim McCann on the St. Francis bench. Looks like it looks like his pads are off and his day is clearly done, but hopefully he's okay to return next week.
I'll tell you, he's a big boy because when you're looking at that, I'm going, has he got his shoulder pads still on? And then, as you mentioned, no. He's a broad-shouldered young lad.
3rd down and 2 from the 35 for St. Joe's. And there's a handoff and a first down. Good hard running by Davion Becker. The problem that St. Joe's has right now is the clock.
But, you need, as I said, you need to win the play. So they come out, they're attacking the B gap there, and the little duo blocking, 2 guys on 1 pushes. They pick up those 3 yards and get the first down.
1st and 10, ball spotted at the St. Joe's 39-yard line. Mann's back to pass. He throws downfield, incomplete. Intended for Zion Knight. Caden Wright on the coverage. Ball was overthrown. Good coverage, too. So it'll be 2nd down and 10. Tim McCann is a 290-pounder and plays on the O-line and the D-line. So it does not list his height. but he's a big young man.
He's
There's
tall.
run to Osinski, who slips and falls and is brought down after about a gain of 5.
He's got the left tackle body, right tackle kind of body. Tall, wide. There was an old coach on the radio that got bounced out of Buffalo. We used to call about guys, backside's a big power pack. He's got those kind of legs, big power back pack and behind. He was fun to watch while he was in there.
Third down for St. Joe's. Mance back to pass. He throws, caught, and I think that's another first down for St. Joe's. Downey makes the catch, brought down by Luke Fleischman. And it's another first down for St. Joe's. So the Marauders on the move here.
Yep, taking advantage of having 7 guys come in, basically no linebackers, so there's a little bit of free space in between. Throw it underneath, let your guy catch it, and just run for another yard or so and get that first down. That's smart football.
Braden Manns awaits the shotgun snap. And that play's blown up in the backfield on the handoff. It was handed off to Kaczynski, but as it was being handed off, there were 3 guys in white shirts there to make sure that play didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, I think they put Egby in a cannon. Soon as it snapped, boom! That guy was off to the races.
Well, St. Joe's was fortunate. One of those St. Francis guys didn't grab the ball and take off. That's how quickly
it was close. Yeah, I just thought, wow, that was a great move on snap.
4-yard loss.
He's unreliable.
Second down and 14 for the Marauders. And he fakes the handoff. Manns rolls to the right. He throws incomplete on the far side, intended for Ostrander. There's a flag on the field, holding on St. Joe's. Yeah, it's hard to maintain a really long drive in this sport.
Definitely.
Sooner or later, one of the 11 guys somewhere is going to make a mistake.
And really, I think that's what the whole defensive premise for this drive has been. We're going to pressure, try to hold the line of scrimmage. You can get some short gains, but you're going to have to be able to get, 10, 15 plays in a row. And that is, as you said, very difficult. That's difficult on a pro level.
Yes, it is.
High school, very difficult.
Holding on St. Joe's.
It's the worst combination.
Now Manns back to pass. He rolls to the near side. He throws, and it's incomplete on the far. Well, it's caught on the St. Francis bench, and it's an incomplete pass in the game with 2 minutes and 32 seconds to go here in the third quarter. Still 28-0 St. Francis.
Must be a couple of the family members of St. Francis coaching staff, because I think a coach caught the ball and I heard a cheer.
Or former players who are now on the coaching staff. And here's Manns back to pass. He throws. That one's caught and brought down almost immediately. Ostrander makes the catch, and he's brought down by Fleischman.
If you're Franny's, that's just what you wanted to see. A short throw, good tackle. We're going to let him get out of bounds, save clock time. You're going to give up a few yards, but it was a safe defensive play and just finished it off. And it looks like St. Joe's is going to come out and punt. What do you think of fake punts in your life?
Well, they're great when they work. And let's see, Hopwood is back deep. Cook Jr., but then they moved him out of there. And punt, he just got it away. Great high kick and a fair catch. Ball hits his hands, and he's brought down almost immediately. So Hopwood signaled for the fair catch, and then the ball went off his hands, and he was able to get a bounce, and fortunately for St. Francis, recover what'll be 1st and 10 at the 32-yard line.
Sorry about that, Stu. My fan came out of me. I thought, whoa! We might see a big defensive play here.
Well, that was a huge punt by Carter Petrie. That was way up there. The hang time was great.
Yeah, I got through the first chapter of War and Peace while it was in the air. That was a fabulous punt.
How'd you like the book?
Well, haven't gotten through it yet. I need a few more punts to get me through the rest of it.
So it's first and 10, St.
It was
Francis.
not required reading where I went to school.
And there's a handoff to Hardy. And he's got a very short gain. Excuse me, that was not Hardy. That was Tyrone Clark Jr. For some reason, I thought that 9 was an 8.
And you can see St. Francis now, there's a minute left in this quarter. They're happy now. They're up by 28. They just want to burn some clock, get to the fourth quarter, and put the bow on this game.
And once again, Clark gets the call, and there's nowhere for him to go. Oh, he spins away from a tackle, but then someone got him by the jersey. 44. Rozak and Ubilis in there on that tackle. And that'll bring up third down for St. Francis. Less than 40 seconds to play here in the third quarter. So they'll have to run a play here. 3rd and 7 for the Red Raiders. And here's the throw and the catch on the far side. Let's see where they spot it. Caught by Nico Pinelli. And I think the fourth down marker goes up. So,
and I think St. Francis is going up with purpose, and they're going to go for it here, Stu.
Nope. And a whistle blows, and it looks like the timeout is taken. Well, he said St. Joe's.
I think St. Joe's wasn't prepared for them to actually go for it there. They want to set their defense on. This may make Coach Smith rethink this, but again, you're up 28-0. Maybe you want to work on your short yardage pressure. You never know. Later in the season, you might need this with this many seconds left or whatever were you thinking about. Because as a coach, you're always thinking of the what ifs. You're trying to set up plays for what if. You're trying to set up defenses for what if. And when you got a big lead, it's not a bad time to do it.
Well, taking a look at Tim McCann, he looks like he's not putting any pressure on that left foot. He's got to wrap around the left knee. So hopefully he's okay. Obviously his day is done. I want to remind everybody about our sponsors. Our featured sponsors for today's game are Damon University, Richmond Vona, Logistics Plus of Buffalo, G&G Fitness, Wingnuts Buffalo, SUNY Cortland, Pathfinder College Planning, Dan Chacha Injury Attorneys, 510 Toy Shop, and Sports Cards. 4th and 1 from the 41 for St. Francis. Buttles will hand it off, and he's got the first down, does Mr. Clark. And the game today is also brought to you by the Mental Match with Sam Recco, Canisius High School, St. Joseph's Collegiate Institute, St. Francis High School, the Trench Trophy, Lewis and Lewis PC, and Colvin Cleaners. And that will do it for the third quarter. After 3 quarters, St. Francis 28, St. Joe's nothing. You're watching Monsignor Martin High School football on Western New York Athletics.
I'm George Wiley, a senior at Canisius High School. As the only Jesuit high school in Western New York, Canisius delivers a life-changing education. Canisius prepares young men for acceptance into the nation's finest universities, and our community supports us at each step of our journey. We are proud of our excellent athletics and our emphasis on service. This place is special. Let us show you why.
Experience firsthand the excellence of Canisius High School. Schedule your visit at canisiushigh.org.
And we're back for the start of the fourth quarter. First and 10, St. Francis from their own 47-yard line. Buttles and a little play action pass, and that time he's sacked. Big play by St. Joe's there. Damone Harden and Malcolm Ransom get the sack, and it'll be a loss back to the 41-yard line where it'll be second down for St. Francis. I think that's the first time Buttles, I think, all day.
I think it was. Kudos to number 2, Brendan Thompson, the senior cornerback. He was up in a press formation. They've been dropping back after pressing. They didn't that play, and there was nowhere to go with the ball.
Screen pass to Cook, and he's down inside the St. Joe's 40-yard line. Well, they let him come in that time, and a beautifully executed screen and a big gain all the way into St. Joe's territory. A 19-yard gain.
Great call. We all know, how do you handle a pressured line? They were St. Joe's defensive line just had a great rush. So how do we take advantage of it? Well, we'll just kind of let them all come in and throw the little screen. Boom, first down.
Handoff to Cook. Cook breaks a couple of tackles, cuts back the other way. He's got some room to run. There goes Cook. And he cuts back the other ways into the end zone for the touchdown. A 40-yard run by Dominic Cook Jr., and it's a 34-0 lead. That's a fabulous run.
Yep, I was only thinking to myself, wowee, Housley. It's basically an off-tackle play, missed tackle, then Cook sees the lane open up to the right, just runs through it. We've seen a lot of another guy named Cook doing that on the professional level. And then once he made that 45-degree angle run, no one's catching him. Couldn't quite see. There was a Joe's defender. We're really hustling, trying to make the play. He got in the way a little bit, and Cook just then sidesteps, go left, and walks in basically untouched. Fabulous run.
Kick is up and good to make it 35-0. And on that run, they had him at the line of scrimmage.
One missed tackle.
That's all it takes.
That's all it takes. But what it also takes is a gifted running back.
Yes.
With speed, good eyes. They're cutting back a lot today, so that's kind of their repertoire. That was not a designed cutback play. He did that on his own, through his own God-given skill, his eyesight, his ability to stay balanced, explosive first step. That kid's a great young running back.
He's only a junior.
Yeah, you're gonna,
And so's Tyrone Clark.
Yep, they've got a 1-2 punch that is like Muhammad Ali 1-2 kind of punch. Or maybe you're a Joe Frazier fan, so we'll say a Joe Frazier 1-2.
I did like Smoking Joe.
Well, who didn't? He was a man's man.
And that was back in the day when heavyweight boxing really mattered, and it was special.
It was big. It was everybody would try to they didn't have cable in those days or streaming. I think they had it in a theater and broadcasted it somehow. I was too young for that, but boy, boxing was huge. But in this case, just a beautiful run. Hats off to Cook.
Well, St. Francis will kick it off. And this time they'll kick it deep, and it'll be caught at about the 10-yard line. And, there's a big hit in there. It'll be St. Joe's ball at about the 20-yard line.
To the 24-yard line.
And Mr. Fuller is signaling the clock should start ticking. They want to run that clock, but so far they haven't started it up here.
He wants you to run the clock.
Yeah, 35 points out.
So I think when you get up by 35, they play with a running clock.
So there'll be a running clock now.
First and 10 for St. Joe's. Been a long, miserable afternoon for the Marauders. They've had a tough time of it.
They gave Canisius a pretty good fight last week. We were really hoping if we'd see that kind of effort on both sides and have a close game. But St. Francis have come out and they've been dominant.
And there's a great defensive play, pass intended for Chin, but broken up by the Red Raiders. And it'll bring up second down and 10.
Yeah, I think it was Caden Wright, the cornerback. He almost had a pick there.
Tanner Saunders, our producer, Mike Goodberry, our photographer. My name is Stu Boyer. Paul Catrona is our color man on a gorgeous afternoon here in Western New York. And it's been all St. Francis today, 35 to nothing. Mans takes the shotgun snap. He throws, caught on the near side, and bouncing off a couple of tackles is Zion Knight. But he had nowhere to go. He got hit by 1, 2, and 3 Red Raiders.
Yep, it was a good catch. Good, picked up what he could get. He was still trying to break free, and then a giant white wave of about 4 guys came in and just took him off his feet finally.
Third down for the Marauders.
That's team tackling.
Well, Braden Mann's in a tough spot coming in with your team down 28 to nothing, and it's tough to try and lead them back. And here's Mans looking to throw. He throws and incomplete. Intended on the near side for Zion Knight. It'll bring up fourth down.
Yeah, fourth down. I mean, he was. Yes, the clock required.
Aiden Hopwood goes back deep to return this punt. It would be very interesting. Matthew Zielinski and Andrew Lindstrom go into the game for St. Francis. Be very interesting. And maybe they'll meet later, Canisius and St. Francis, as Mason Anderson also goes back deep with Aiden Hopwood. See those two teams play.
Oh, yes.
Petrie, the punter, is on for St. Joe's. We haven't seen a punt blocked or a punt run back for a touchdown yet today. And the return is on. It's a great high kick. And it's being returned and breaking tackles coming to the near side and going down the sideline. And takes it all the way down inside the 5, but there's a flag on the play. As Mason Anderson had a great return, but I think that one might be coming back.
That was a wonderful. I'm just thinking to myself, I enjoy the kicking game, as you probably well know. We've seen some really nice punts. Kudos. That's another one, just high and deep punt. Maybe I'll kick the coverage a little bit, but a magnificent kick.
Well, Carter Petrie, Coach Corona told us, is being recruited by Penn State. So we're not the only ones noticing his kicking.
Yes, just strong leg.
And they are bringing that punt return back.
I wanted to be a punter as a kid.
The one thing
and field goal kicker.
Really? Well, the one thing to me that the most impressive quote I ever heard about returning punts came from the late O.J. Simpson. He said, punt returns on good teams are easier because they block them so well. And I thought that actually makes a lot of sense.
Gosh, yes.
Because, returning a kickoff or a punt, you're exposing yourself to being on the wrong end of a train wreck.
And think about it too, when you are blocking for a punt return, your primary responsibility is to turn your back to the punter, right? Once the ball's in the air, now you got to run, and then you got to turn and figure out which man, and you have to get the front of the man. You can't block him from behind. So when you are a special teams guy, and we know that many professional athletes have made good livings in pro football by being specialists. It's one of the specialties that you can earn probably very, very good money if you're a good blocker on special teams.
True.
And we're actually watching this early part of the season this year. There's something going on with the blocking schemes of NFL teams, whether it's the punt coverage, punt return. But in any case, our own great victory against Baltimore was almost sabotaged at the very end. when they blew through a hole and almost got a block on the kick. Fortunately, we didn't fall victim to that, but there's been several games that teams have lost because of that. So special teams are very special. They can play a huge factor. And in this young boy's life, he's going to get a good education at a big university, um, and they're going to pay for it. And him and his folks won't have to. So that's a great gift.
1st and 10 for St. Francis from the 35-yard line. Buttles remains in at quarterback. And he'll hand that off to Clark. And Clark barrels forward. That's excuse me, that's not Clark. That is Larry Hardy the third. And that's a good hard run out to the 35-yard line. So Hardy with a good run. 4-yard gain, but 4 well-earned.
Hard run, right?
Yes, and now we see Tim McCann with the air cast on his left leg and on crutches on the sideline. So we'll hope for the best for him.
Hopefully just to stabilize everything.
2nd down for St. Francis. And that's a handoff. Oh, another short gain, but a good run by Nick Williams. And he got 2 or 3 yards, which will bring up a 3rd down.
St. Francis evidently has a stable of running backs.
Yeah. Well, if you're coming out for the team next year, let's say this year, you know what's happened, but Cook is a junior and so is Clark. Dominic Cook Jr., Tyrone Clark Jr. are both juniors in school, so chances are they'll be back next year. But you never know who's coming into your district.
That's right. You never know, and you got to go out and earn it. As in anything, you got to be the better player.
False start against St. Francis. That'll back them up 5. So it'll be 3rd down and 7. As the clock continues to tick, we're coming up on 5 minutes to go here in the 4th quarter.
And we see Nick Williams in the backfield now, and he's also a junior. Now Hardy the third is a senior, so this will be his last year. So there is an opening for one running back next year.
And Buttles is going to keep this one himself. And he's going to be slammed down. Oh, that was a little bit late there, perhaps. I don't think there's a flag, but Darmaine Ubilis hit him. It looked like that play was over to me, but it was close.
It was close, but you know, I didn't like at the very end. Of course, he's falling backward, and we could see his head snap a little bit. He didn't hit the turf though, because I was a little afraid those kind of tackles, your head can hit the turf and then have a chance for a concussion or whatever. Luckily, nothing happened, but it was close.
4th and 4 from the 37-yard line for St. Francis. They have a 35-0 lead. And it looks like St. Joe's jumped off sides, which will give St. Francis a 1st down.
That was Andrew Rose.
Wow,
40.
It's been that kind of day for St. Joe's. Want to remind everybody again to check out the Western New York Athletics homepage, as Tony Fiorello will have a game recapped and a sidebar or two about this game on this glorious Saturday afternoon in Western New York. 1st and 10 from the 42-yard line for St. Francis. And they might be able to run out the clock on this drive as we're coming up on the 3-minute mark. And Buttles will keep this one, a roll to the right, try to turn the corner. He does. He stays in bounds. He's finally knocked out of bounds. Let's see where they spot that. There's a flag on the far side, right about the 50-yard line. So we'll see.
Yeah, that's holding area.
And you're right. Well, he said illegal block in the back. I thought he signaled holding, but either way, it's a penalty on St. Francis. So Buttles with a nice run there.
Well, you said potato, I said potato. But in essence,
and thanks for the tomatoes.
Oh, the tomatoes too. It is a late tomato year this year in Western New York. We've had such a beautiful September and early October.
Finally done. New quarterback.
And we have a quarterback change. Vincent, well, let's see. Terrence Ware, perhaps? into the game at quarterback. Looks like Buttles might have come out.
Number 5? No.
I have 15, Terrence Ware, defensive end and quarterback. He's 205-pounder.
Oh, my eyesight.
And it's a handoff and a good gain. It is, you're right, it is number 5, Evan Knocker at quarterback. Handoff to Hardy with a good gain.
Just funny because he's not listed as quarterback, but
Yeah, I know, that's what I thought.
must have played before.
And we have a timeout taken on the field with 1:41 remaining in the fourth quarter, and St. Francis up 35-0. I want to thank all our sponsors. Our featured sponsors for today's game are Damon University, Richmond Vona, Logistics Plus of Buffalo, G&G Fitness, Wingnuts Buffalo, SUNY Cortland, Pathfire College Planning, Dan Chacha Injury Attorneys, 510 Toy Shop and Sports Cards, The Mental Match with Sam Recco, Canisius High School, St. Joseph's Collegiate Institute, St. Francis High School, the Trench Trophy, Lewis and Lewis PC, and Colvin Cleaners. And what a great day for St. Francis. Unfortunately, a tough day for St. Joe's. St. Francis, Trent Buttles had just an outstanding day on both sides of the ball for St. Francis.
Yeah, nice player.
And unfortunately for the Red Raiders, Tim McCann suffered some sort of injury. And now we're back out there.
Prayers for that young man. Hopefully it just is all precautionary.
We have Evan Knocker now at quarterback wearing number 5 for St. Francis. Only 1:41 remaining in what's been a long, hot afternoon for St. Joe's here on their home field.
Those two, we've seen a team that had brought back a lot of starters from last year in St. Francis, and they look like a well-oiled machine. On the St. Joe side, they've had a lot. They have a lot of new starters this year, and they're going to find their way. And I was thinking about something you had said. Really, yeah, St. Joe's going to take the beating today and have to lick their wounds. These teams might face each other again in the playoffs. And playoff football, you could come back and prove it all over again. I'd love to see a rematch in the early rounds between these two teams and see how much growth did St. Joe's have in between. They look like they got some athletes, they got some players. We know Coach Corona is really doing a great job in getting more kids into the program. He wants to become what is a St. Francis program in the years forward.
Nick Williams in at running back. He carried on that last one, and he's going to get the ball again, but there's a whistle. And did St. Joe's jump off side again? Nope, it's a false start against St. Francis. So we're coming up on the final 30 seconds, perhaps one more snap. I want to thank our producer, Tanner Saunders, our photographer, Mike Goodberry, our colorman, Paul Catrona. Well, St. Joe's for hosting us in St. Francis, and that will do it. There will not be another snap as the clock runs out. Once again, the final score, St. Francis 35, St. Joe's nothing. Teams will now shake hands at midfield, and most of all, we want to thank you for watching. Have a good night, everybody.